and welcome to Quirky Books with Katie. Today we're going to be talking about the book Never Fade by Alexandra Bracken. This is the second book in the amazing Darkest Minds series. If you guys have not yet read this series, you seriously need to. It is worth its hype, I promise. You know me. I'm someone who, if a book's not worth its hype, do not talk about it. But this series is just mind-blowing and amazing, and I just can't say enough good things about it. This book takes place a few weeks after the heartbreaking, amazing, emotionally damaging cliffhanger ending at the end of The Darkest Minds, and it's just a roller coaster ride. It shoots off from there. This book is just amazing. It blew my mind in basically every way possible. One of my favorite things about this book is just how damaging it is. It sounds weird, but this author really makes you feel for the characters and their situation, because I feel like these stories are very dark. There's not a lot of happy scenes in them, but the author still, you feel for the characters, and it's just everyone is damaged in some way, shape, or form, and I just hope they all have a happy ending by the end of the series, because they need that. And yeah, another good thing about this book, it made me cry at least 5 times. And not just the crying where it's just like, oh my god, this is so sad, like actual tears. I was bawling my eyes out at some point. I couldn't even bring this to school because I almost cried and people would think I'm weird. So now we're going to go into spoilers. And if you haven't read it yet, go read it. Just do it. Okay, spoiler time. Now, we're going to go about telling about this book by characters, because one of the amazing things about this series is definitely the characters and their development. And of course, we have to start off with our protagonist, Ruby. Now, I had my issues with Ruby in The Darkest Minds. I liked her. I did not love her. She was a very complex character, and I just was not a fan of a lot of her decisions. But in this book, I just felt for her so bad. We really get a lot more character development, and we get to see a lot of the different sides of Ruby. In this book, she really takes control of who she is. In The Darkest Minds, she didn't want to do anything. She's like, I'm orange, I hate myself. And in this one, she really just accepted it for the most part and just took control. And she was badass. And she was amazing. I loved her character because she's so complex. You don't always like her, but you feel for her and you can understand why she makes her decisions. As stupid as some of them are, but I just really loved seeing her character develop, especially my favorite part. This is actually one of the scenes where I was crying. It was when Rob took her and kind of tied her up in the back of his van. That sounds really bad. And he kind of put like a muzzle on her, and she hurt him, and she was just crying because she thought she became who Clancy was. And it really showed, I feel like that scene really showed who Ruby really is. And because even though she has these awful abilities, she doesn't want to hurt anybody, and she's just an amazing person. And we got to see a lot of new characters in this book. My favorite was probably Vita. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Let me know down below if you know. I thought she was hilarious. The second you come into the scene, I was just like, yes, you know this character is our sarcastic little shit. And I just loved her so much. I feel like a lot of people didn't like her at the beginning, but I was just like, who is this sarcastic character? We need to see more. I just love, too, how she has, like, blue hair, and she's such a fireball, and I feel like she's a real compliment to Ruby, because Ruby's usually pretty chill, and this girl is just like all over the place, and I loved her. I thought her character was amazing. I love to see where she's going in the next book. And of course we have to talk about Chubbs. I was not the biggest fan of Chubbs in the first book. I have to say, I don't know why his character just felt a little off to me. From this book, I really grew to love him, because we're at this one scene. Ruby is at Liam's house. And she kind of goes and she sees someone, and you're praying to God, it's Liam. You're like, oh my god, is that Liam? Is that Liam? And it's Chubbs. I literally screamed. I was just like, oh, it's Chubbs! Like, that was me for a good 5 minutes. I was just so happy to see him. And I loved his development throughout the book, too. We got to see a different side of him. He was a lot more calm, not sarcastic and mean. And I thought that was good. He was just really there for Ruby. Because in The Darkest Minds, he's not really there for Ruby. It's mostly Liam, because Chubbs is just there making, like, jokes at her the whole time and being mean. And he's really there for Ruby, and I thought that was awesome. Another interesting character would definitely have to be Cole. I'm not sure how I feel about him yet. I really don't, because at the beginning I'm just like, when she sees him, I know it's not Liam. I'm just like, oh, it's Liam's brother. We don't know too much about him except that they don't get along, which I really want to see their relationship develop because they really just do not like each other at all. And I feel like that's really interesting because in books, I feel like a lot of books don't really go into sibling relationship, and I think this is going to be an interesting way to see one develop. And the fact that Cole is a red. How the heck is Cole a red? He's older, and he's not part of, like, that generation. I just think, because basically everything you think you know in this book, it's just, like, blown to crap. You just have no clue by the end, and it was just, like, blowing my mind. And, of course, we have to talk about everyone's favorite character, the oh-so-lovely Liam, because basically what Ruby's doing in the first half of this book is going to find Liam to get that flash drive back. And there's a few scenes where you think he might show up, and you're just like, okay, we just need to see him. And when he actually does, I was bawling again. It was just, Liam is portrayed in the first book as being this wall, this strong character, always there for Ruby. And what I loved about this book was it kind of flipped the scenario, kind of. Ruby was the strong one there. Ruby is really the leader of this book. She kind of sheds her skin and she really steps out into her own. And she's doing more of the leading rather than Liam. So when she finds Liam basically almost dying, she starts crying, and I am crying along with her. And I just feel so awful for all of these characters. It's just, but I really liked seeing the way that Ruby and Liam's relationship developed in this book, because even though there weren't that many scenes of them together, you still got a crap ton of development, because even though Liam does not remember Ruby, she took his memories away, but she didn't take his feelings away, which I thought was interesting. It really shows what Ruby can and can't do. And it was just interesting. And when they're at the store and he's just like, I don't even know you, but I love you. Usually at that scene, I'm the one that's just like, ugh, cringe, cringe, cringe. I was just like, oh my god, that's so cute. Just kiss and make up already. And they did kiss, and it was quite lovely. But, this book, guys. And then the end. Gotta talk about the end. I'm not usually a fan of endings that just cram information at you, but this one was very well done, because we get the sadness. I was expecting the sadness with Jude. Very sad about that. Jude is just a little puppy dog, and he is just sad. And freaking Clancy messing everything up, as always. I hate Clancy. And the reason that I do not like Clancy is he's not even like a complex villain. You don't know why he's doing what he's doing. He's just all bad, and I hate him so much. I know that we couldn't have gotten the information at the end without him, but he's still just, ugh. I hate that guy. I really hope Ruby kills him in the last book, because I don't care anymore. I'm really interested to see where the series is going to go, especially now that there's the possibility of a cure. I did not see that coming, because you're assuming throughout the book that the information on the flash drive is about what caused the disease, not about the cure. So I'm very interested to see that. But God, this author, she just must love emotionally damaging people, because at the end, we're like 20 pages from the end, and Chubbs and Liam are going to go in and save Jude, and I was just crying. I was like, no, this cannot happen. This is not going to be another Darkest Minds ending where something bad happens to them. And it was okay. It's just, in the next book, Ruby and Liam really need to have a sit down and address the issues in their relationship, because even though it's adorable, they're not on the same page, and they need to end up together. They're just the cutest couple in every way possible. And I also really want to see Zoo in the next book. I love Zoo. The only thing I did not like about this book was the fact that Zoo was not in it. Let me know down below what you guys thought of this book, what your theories are for the next one, and if it isn't obvious, I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. It was flawless. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you again soon.